I'm going to open this meeting at 7:02. Gentlemen, first order of business is our minutes from our last meeting. You all had a chance to review them? Any discussion?
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of, what was it, May 8th, as written.
I second it.
You can't second it.
Can't say
All in
you
favor?
weren't here.
I'll second it.
We accepted the minutes. Next business here is Michael Wright. Approval not required for a A&R plan, but you say a lot line adjustment. What is that?
All right.
Okay, do you want to explain what is there an adjustment?
Yeah, so,
Steve's going to explain some adjustment.
so they're adjusting the center lot line, and they're maintaining the 100 feet of frontage on this lot 1A. The notes are on your top right. Parcel 2A is to be conveyed to lot 1. Parcel 1A is to be conveyed to lot 2. And they both have the required 80,000 plus. Lot 1, 80,934 square feet. Lot 2, 82,786 square feet.
And this to be easement.
I've included a checklist in your packages. So I believe it meets the requirements on our checklist.
Okay,
Check.
gentlemen, we want to go through the checklist?
Sure.
And who wants to read it?
I can read it.
Ready, Mike?
Yep. The plan shows the division of land. It shall show the following: A, title, North Point, date and scale.
Yep.
B, name and address of record owner and surveyor.
Yes.
Record owners, yep.
Surveyor, here.
Yep.
Moving right, Clark. C, names of all abutters.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Looks good.
Entire area in which division takes place, including all parcels affected by an increase or decrease.
Yep.
Frontage and area of any remaining adjoining land owned by the applicant.
Frontage shown. Yep.
It's all on here.
Space to record the board, action and signature.
Yep.
Notice of any special permits and/or variances issues as to the land or building thereof, thereon.
Proposed easements, points 8 and 9. All right.
These easements, you turn around on High Street. Statement that the plan meets one or more of the following criteria. All lots meet Pepperell zoning frontage requirements.
Yep.
Yes. Lots are being joined or made part of an adjoining land to meet Pepperell zoning frontage requirements.
Yes.
Yep.
Lots are pre-existing Pepperell zoning requirements, but each has at least 20 feet of frontage.
Yep.
Locust plan shows the area described in
Yep.
Yeah.
of subdivisions, okay. Certification that the plan was drawn by a land surveyor registered in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, that he or she has conformed with the rules and regulations of the registers of deed in preparing the plans.
Yep.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
A motion to approve.
Who wants to make the motion to accept this?
What is this? This is, this is what, the show, right?
That's correct. Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the approved plan. Requirements, not required plan for 43-41 High Street, lot alignment adjustment.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So, if the members wouldn't mind signing the plan in front of them and switching them over, we need those four. And then we have the Mylar that we're passing on. Today's the 22nd, May 22nd, George.
Good, 24.
Start at the bottom.
Oh, I figure I'm at the end of the line, you know.
You could be at the beginning of the line, Rick, depending how
Might
you're
be how
looking
it's
at
just
it.
read,
You know what
right?
I'm saying? Yeah. I think I'm at the end of the line, actually, over here.
Spot.
This one. You got them all now?
I think so.
Okay, next. Action item. Mr. Michael Prey, 4 Suncook Drive, public hearing for a special permit application for, excuse my voice, for side setback reduction. And that's supposed to be at 7:15. So we're a little early, so it'll take a few minutes to review any of the paperwork. believe you have in front of you all, excuse me, his application.
Mm-hmm.
It's already, this was already special permitted, right? Original code requirement.
Hmm.
What change does it make to not fit?
Did you do the drawing?
My father did. A lumber salesman does blueprints.
As I see this, I don't think we'll bring it up. Feet of setback. I'm looking. See that setback?
Where does he work?
A lumber.
For single purchase.
I didn't know that. Let's go.
He is putting it.
But he loved digging in on that, huh? Was he happy with it?
Doing all right. This is the second time around. You did it for my sister about a year and a half ago. So, needless to say, not thrilled.
Okay, well, Father's Day's good.
I mean, really, it's rich, but it's not something we should have done. Oh, we're just talking about setback, you're looking for setback. I was looking for setback, or would we be able to split it about? That's not about the fine. You get that? Yeah, that's it.
Wasn't this already given us some kind of,
Beg your pardon?
wasn't this already setback? 25?
Yes, but it was an open space development, and so he needs further review, he's reducing that further, so he's gotta go before us. And if this board approves it, he still needs ZBA to
Yeah, so that
go
was,
back to Paul, so.
Okay, 7:15, Rossiter. Gonna open this hearing for Michael Prey. Again, hearing for a application for a side yard setback reduction. All right, who wants to talk and explain this? Steve, or do we need Michael to talk?
Well, the applicant's here, do you wanna, introduce yourself
Sure,
and
sure,
what it is
yeah.
you're trying to do, and I can certainly speak to the technicalities if need be.
I'm Michael Prey. I live at 4 Suncook Street. Right now, I have a standard colonial where my garage is underneath my house. So from the road, you drive into the driveway, cut left, and go into the garage. My driveway currently goes downhill and kind of slants back towards the garage, so there's a lot of runoff with water. My garage fills up, so the garage is currently kind of small, so we'd like to add a 2-car garage onto the side, so you'd just be driving in from the road rather than turning, with a great room above. We're looking to elevate the addition 1.5 feet to alleviate some of the runoff, put a drain in front, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. And it looks like the construction of your garage is a 2-car type garage and pretty much a standard dimensions I see for a 2-car garage. Any smaller would be pretty tight, 2-car
Yeah.
garage. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, according, this occurred, actually, I think it was a butter of yours back in 2009, and originally went directly to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Somehow that was appealed, and it was determined by the town council in that instance and in this instance, that because it was an open space residential dimensional relief, that the applicants, Mr. Prey tonight, needs to come before this board to get your concurrence on the reduction, what, like 2.5 feet, or I forget.
Three
Yeah,
feet, 4
Three,
inches.
yeah, and if this board is so inclined, the applicant will then have to go before the zoning board for their relief in order to build what he's describing.
So was it rejected 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
No, it was approved. Yeah, once the correct path was determined, this board agreed with that, and it was ultimately approved by the ZBA back in 2009. So that's why it's here, instead of directly going to the zoning board of appeals. Because it's this board that approves or disapproves the open space plans.
So there's really nothing over here.
It's open space, correct.
Just
Yeah.
just the wetlands there, so we can, I don't see the issue.
I think it's quite reasonable. He's not looking for 20 feet
Right.
relief, he's looking for a yardstick.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
to improve the quality of life and
Right.
value of the property.
Pumping out the garage.
Hoping a foot and a half makes a difference.
I have
We'll
a
see.
24 by 24 garage. You think it's plenty of space until you start accumulating garbage,
Well, putting this addition on too,
Next
we'll be
thing you
taking
know,
down
you're
a shed. So
shuffling
we're
around the
gonna
cars.
Right. I've got bigger than that. It's still
And
small.
and the great room is now a storage room.
need- Yeah.
Yeah, but
Any more discussion, gentlemen?
No.
And who would-
I'll make a motion that we
Good.
accept the application for reduction of side yard setback for 4 Suncook Drive for Mr. Michael Prey.
I'll second it.
Joe seconds. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, if I could ask the board, we did this the last time, we have 14 days to get the decision out, but that would require the board to come by our office and whatnot. It happens before our next meeting, so if we could sign the certificate now, include it in the decision.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We try to get it as quickly to the applicant as possible.
When did we last see?
The sooner I can break ground,
Right.
the sooner I can meet with the zoning board, the better.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I thought you were gonna give up that 2.5 feet and just build it, but you
Everybody
stayed
kept
at it.
saying,
Al.
do it, do it, do it.
I'm impressed.
It would ruin the garage.
So Michael, you're all set?
All set.
You can
Thank you
call me
very
in
much,
the office.
everybody. Have a good night. Thank you.
Give me a call.
Sounds good, thank you.
Just in time, hold up.
Okay. We're ready to go on to next, which is Cellco Partnerships doing business as Verizon Wireless. Minor site plan approval for a wireless installation at number 3 Townsend Street. And everybody has paperwork?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I don't know I'll pass this around and we'll talk about the concern. I don't know if I included it in the package, but Board of Health and Highway Department both had a couple of comments. Everyone else was fine with it, or provided no comment, but I think that's something we'll be discussing tonight.
Most of you probably remember these same gentlemen were here earlier with a brief on this.
Do you want to give a
Sure.
brief overview
I'll
of
give you
what
a brief overview.
transpired in our first meeting?
Sure. For the record, again, I'm Victor Manougian from Verizon Wireless. David Vivian from Structure Consulting Group on behalf of Verizon Wireless. And Lou Puga, who's with Dewberry Associates that did the drawings. We're here to get this approval for the property located at 3 Townsend Street, the Community Church Society of Pepperell. When we were here last, I went through real quick that we're here under your wireless ordinance, section 8300, and that under section 8320, the wireless communications overlay districts applies to all properties within Pepperell, and under 8340-41, our proposed installation in the church spire or steeple can be accomplished by minor site plan review under 2451, and that's what we're here for tonight. I'll just do briefly what we're proposing. On the outside, there is a 30 kilowatt diesel generator, which I'll just discuss in a few moments. There's been some discussion on that, which is right here. That'll be on a concrete pad. Also on the outside is our HVAC unit to cool the equipment that's inside the building in the first floor level. And that will be surrounded by a 7-foot fence for privacy. The highway department memo, among other things, suggested not going with plastic, and so we will go with wood, if you would prefer wood, to match the color of the existing church siding. In the steeple itself, right here, the antennas are going to be hidden inside the louvers. There'll be 6 antennas, 2 per sector. The existing louvers will be replaced because they're not RF friendly. They'll be fiberglass, which is RF friendly, so the radio frequency waves can go through that. And then the cabling will be as it's demonstrated here, and again, what's on the ground. In addition, inside the steeple where you won't see will be 3 junction boxes and 6 radio remote heads, which allow these antennas to communicate with other antennas and provide the service we need. We did get a copy of the letter from the Neshoba Board of Health, as well as your highway department. With respect to the generator, the last sentence of the highway department letter says N-Grid won't allow us to cut into the street now. So natural gas by pipe would be out. What we've proposed is a diesel generator. The diesel generator is double-bellied. It has a double-bellied tank that holds 199 gallons. It's a self-contained stand-up unit. It doesn't need any screening above it or next to it for any kind of protection from ice or anything like that. It will run about 20 minutes once a week. And we program it in the afternoon, early afternoon, or whatever the board wants so that it won't disturb anybody that may be sleeping nearby. The installation here is a small area, and that's where the church wanted the equipment. If we were to go to propane, as suggested, I believe those tanks are 500 gallon usually?
Yep.
Propane tanks, so it's kind of a larger installation, will take up more room. And as far as noise, the noise doesn't matter on what the fuel source is. This emits about 65 decibels running at 7 meters. The way I describe it is similar to a small pickup truck engine running. And again, it will run 20-minute once a week, so that in the event there's a power failure, it will run. I'm sorry.
What is the, excuse me, if I could just, do you remember, what the KW of your generator was?
30 kilowatt. I'm sorry, Dave wanted to
Not
add
that
something.
big.
And what, especially since we're switching to the wood fence, right now we're showing the fence at 7 feet. For some additional noise buffering, we may propose, when we go to building department or have this modified, maybe adding an extra foot to make sure that you're not having anything bleeding over the top as far as noise. So that 65 dB is, unhindered,
Yeah.
Actually, the zoning drawings we had at 7 feet. Currently, we increased the height to 8 feet.
Oh, okay,
So our existing construction drawings have it at 8 feet.
all right. So and I don't have any kind of specs as far as how much buffering there is on that, but there certainly is some.
How much what? I'm sorry.
There is so there's some reduction, there's some buffering in the noise that's emitted with the fencing. I don't have specs on that in any kind of a
Yeah.
study.
Isn't our maximum height for a fence in this town 6 feet?
I thought there is a bylaw on the height of fence.
I don't see it in the zoning. I mean, I love the idea of going higher, but that presents then,
I think there is, Rick, there was, and I think
I
that
think
would
that's in the
fall
building
under
code, right?
the zoning inspector, if he wants to allow.
Have you run it by the building inspector, the height of the fence?
We've not.
I have
no.
not, no.
No, we do that
I think-
after we go through the boards. Obviously, if that, I didn't see that in the wireless ordinance section, so if it's a requirement, we'll comply with it if you.
I know some people, there was, I think you're right, a 6 foot in the structure itself, but some people put it on top of dirt.
There is a height restriction,
Sit up,
Mr.
yeah.
Chairman. Rick, you're right, and I apologize, I don't know what that is, but sitting next to that department, I hear them
When you
speaking
submit
about
everything, that
all the
will
time.
probably pop up. but-
Okay. And then the other thing I was going to mention before I turn it over to the board for any questions is, last time, I believe the chair asked about our regulatory federal filings, SHPO or NEPA or NHPA. Those are still ongoing, but curiously enough, on April 10th, the night of our pre-screening meeting with you, the Brona Simon, Executive Director of the State Historic Preservation Officer with Massachusetts Historic Commission, signed off on that part, indicating that after review of the Mass Historic Commission's files and the materials we submitted, the MHC has determined that the proposed project will have no adverse effect on significant historic or archaeological properties. So we do have the state sign off, but it's still ongoing for the rest, which we will get. And once we have that approval, if you'd like to make that a condition, we can submit it. We normally get that. They run concurrently.
I think that would be good. The letter you received from this state historical, can you submit a copy to our planner administrator here for us to keep with the file?
We can pass around extra copies.
We'll keep that.
Yeah, wanna see it? I'll keep this.
And that's what I have, unless, Dave, you want to add anything right now? Or?
Yeah, no, the only thing that remains on our full, what's referred to as the NEPA investigation, we have one last consultation with one of the Indian tribes, because you also have to make sure you're not disturbing any Indian burial grounds, things of that sort. So that's the only thing remaining, frankly.
Boy, the last I knew, I thought all the settlers moved them out. Indians here.
Well, they put
One of my
they
ancestors
put it,
was a
I
big
don't
Indian
think they put
fighter,
the church
so-
on top of the burial ground, but.
Okay.
So if I could quickly, Mr. Chairman, so I did find the screening, fencing, walls and barriers, page 18, section 5400. It doesn't give a,
It doesn't give a dimensional
it-
restriction.
yeah, it says
Yeah.
at least 4 feet, but we don't have a height cap. So if the board is interested in that, we can condition this and
Well, it
include
would have
that,
to-
subject to the building inspector's.
I mean, just so that you know,
8 feet.
right? I mean, I do believe, I'm pretty sure that that's the
I
dimensional.
think you're right,
Um,
but it's not clear in our, maybe it's in the building code regulations or something.
But in this case, because of the ability to do additional sound dampering, the higher the better.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not gonna
No.
ask the applicant to ask for a variance, but I just,
No.
you know,
Right, but
don't want them to put something up that they're then gonna be told they can't put up.
Right, right.
Well, no, I mean, we would be amenable to you saying 8 feet as long as allowed by the building inspector.
That's up to.
And then we would lower it based on what the building inspector says.
So your generator just kicks on once a week for 20
Well,
minutes?
that's just a programmed cycling to make sure that everything's up and
In
running.
case there is a power failure.
So you know, so that they know it's running. If it doesn't run, they'll get a signal, they'll have to come service it. Obviously, if you have a power failure, it's gonna run 24/7, and at that point, you're not gonna care how long it runs, because you're gonna want cell phone service.
Well, some people would.
But test time is once a week, 20 minutes.
Scheduled?
Yeah. you can-
Scheduled.
You can program it,
We program it for early
usually
afternoon.
around like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And what day of the week? Like a Friday afternoon?
No, it would be more like a Tuesday or whatever, but whatever day,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
something.
that's when the
we're
buses are
on.
running with the kids for most part of the year anyways. It's a good time, makes sense, but, you know, there's also the smell of diesel. And I know Kayleen, I think she had put that in her.
I think you will find the fuels you gotta use now with diesels and all the other, this is a new generator, it'll have to meet the latest
That's
tier
true.
4 specs, okay, which, again, is just more regulations, on the diesel engines. So it is as clean as to meet all the government standards as of now, okay?
Mhm.
Having a generator myself, mine isn't diesel, it's propane. It's larger than what they are. And when I was running everything the other day to do a test, running big pumps, and the thing just runs at an idle, maybe 700-800 RPM, all it did. And the muffler system on it, I mean, from here up the door, you could barely hear my generator run.
Okay.
It's a Kohler, and it's a heck of a muffler on it, I'll tell you. Again, in regards to any worry about the diesel fuel, it's only a couple 100-gallon tank that these sit on. Okay, and like you said, they are double wall.
These are double wall
It's a
tanks.
double wall tank. So generally, might have a plastic tank that's inside of the metal frame. The metal frame outside is a secondary containment.
Mhm.
And there's a gauge or something if there's on them, or a signaling device. So if that inner leaks, it goes into, it's telling you, we've got a leak in here. So again, there are safeguards with that.
And who comes out to service that generator and check on
Whoever
that?
the generator maintenance.
Is it just part of Verizon maintenance?
I'm not positive, but, because I haven't worked with the ops here, I've only been with Verizon for like a year and a half or two. But at AT&T, typically you'd have the cell techs will come out, and in addition to checking their radio equipment, they will do a quick check on the generator as well.
My understanding is it is Verizon monthly.
Monthly.
To check everything, including the radio equipment, make any adjustments,
Mhm.
and check the rest of the equipment. And that's a small pickup truck, it's not a big
Right.
service
Well, there's a
truck.
good-sized parking lot right there.
Yeah, that's just parked over in the back.
Okay.
We do have comments. Do you want to read the comments?
Could I ask is that maintenance plan part of your submission? That you put in?
No, we don't have that in the submission, but I can get it in writing.
Just to articulate exactly how often that comes in. Again, I don't see that being a problem with anyone in the neighborhood, just so we know that there's a,
And they do it routinely, because that's how they know all the equipment's working right.
I would think they really got to come and check those out. That is their lifesaver for that tower. Who wants to read some comments? Chuck, do you want to read the comments from the Board of Health?
I don't have, there's only one comment.
Yeah,
Oh, there is?
Board of Health. That's
You
the
just
high-
want the
that's the-
highlighted one?
That's the highway department. Board of Health's in the back.
The Board of Health, their highlighted comment is there an alternative?
Probably read the whole thing
Okay.
there. if you
We, the
could.
Pepperell Board of Health, are in receipt of the plans of the above referenced property memo dated 4/11/17. Please see the comments and concerns below for the above referenced project. One, development will be served by the town water and sewer. And two, is there an alternative location on the site for the diesel generator? Diesel fumes are noxious and can create a public health issue nuisance if run for extensive period of times. We appreciate the opportunity to comment, and if you have any questions, please contact me directly at the office. Thank you. Pepperell Board of Health.
Okay. Joe, you want to read the comments that we have from Highway Department?
Dear board members, I reviewed the application for a minor site review for Verizon Wireless at the community church on number 3 Townsend Street. The request for a diesel generator on the northerly side of the building could cause some noise issues for the abutting neighbors. Also, being diesel would mean storage of fuel in a very small area could become an issue as well. Will this generator be an enclosed, soundproof, small building, or will it be freestanding? Can the contractor or Verizon supply us with a decibel noise level and explain just how much fuel and where it will be stored? Maybe another location would be better, or should be looked into on the site. Held Street has a gas main on the church side of the street. However, Held Street was just paved in the summer of 2016. In most cases, these generators are run tested once a week. How many times will this be tested in a week's time? How long is the run test? As far as the fence goes, please see the enclosed fence bylaws. Don't have those attached here. Also, please bear in mind, this fence will be fairly close to the Held Street roadway. I would recommend that this plastic fence are not used. Plastic fences do not hold up to New England weather. The cold breaks the weak plastic and is on the drip edge side of the road line. Will this generator have a roof to protect it from drip edge of the roof line? I've contacted the National Grid Gas Company, and the gas line is too far into the street to allow cutting the new paved surfaces. I would recommend propane gas at this time due to storage of the diesel not being allowed to hook up to the gas main. Respectfully, Peter Shattuck, Highway Superintendent.
Okay. And somebody did respond to the Board of Health's request. We have that in file. And that might have been
That was me.
you, which you already stated here. In regards to I mean, whether you use plastic fence or a wood fence really isn't our jurisdiction. Gentlemen, do any of you have any issue with that?
Well, it's so close to the road, you know, just looking, what's the distance you have from the curb cut to the generator pad?
3'2".
So you put 2 inches.
So it's
3 feet.
It's 3, 2, and give or take, and then 5 feet from the fence to where the generator's pad is. So it's 8 and 2 inches.
Yep.
Are you proposing any sort of structural barrier as part of this fence? Like if a car goes off,
Yes. So do you have the CD?
Yeah, they have the drawing.
that's what I'm looking at.
Okay. Is that the?
Yeah, they have the ZD, what sheet?
So the CDs have.
Not a construction, it's a conceptual
Conceptual.
zoning.
Okay. So
They'll have that.
okay. So should just need a copy of that. I got 2 copies here.
Yeah, thank you.
So on So we do have shown on the plan, A1, we do have some bollards here on the inside of the fence.
A1. I got S1. I got C's. Z's. A1.
Right on the other side of the.
So,
Those bollards inside fence.
that's what those
Five of
represent.
6. And just inside each.
So a bollard, define that for me, what's a bollard?
Basically, it's basically a concrete stub, or basically it comes up a certain way, basically from the ground. Basically, it's embedded in the ground, comes up, and basically it's your crash protection.
Okay.
And it's usually, typically we put those around generators, or where we see any street side vehicle traffic coming in.
You guys don't have it. That's pretty much. Here are 6 bollards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. I mean, someone coming down Hill Street is gonna be coming to a stop anyway, so they're gonna be slowing down. Hopefully they're slowing down, but in the event of an accident or someone, swerving out of the way,
On the inside, yeah.
just as long as it's not just a Mary picket fence sitting out there
Yeah, right.
up against 200 gallons of diesel, that could get,
There's actually 9
Okay.
bollards on the inside of the
Great.
fence.
all right.
Question. In regards to this, what would be the issue if you located this, your generator and cooling equipment more westerly on the side of the building? If you look, let's say if it could, or explain why it couldn't, go down to that westerly corner, to the rear, yep, there you go, right in there. If you look from the road cut to that corner, it's a little bit more off the road, and would it, by moving it back, away, eliminating fumes and noise away from the front of the church building?
So you're looking at shifting
Shifting it west.
shifting it west
I can't
toward.
remember.
Correct.
Where's the elevation, where are the windows?
Yep.
I think we actually considered that, and my recollection is that the office space is actually in that location with windows.
Okay,
Yeah,
I got you.
that's true.
And there's no windows on that?
Not right there.
There,
I see.
So these are the windows he's referring to?
so there just
Versus where we are.
there is a window
Yeah.
that we basically it's
Yes, that's what we're gonna be going in with our.
All right, that answered my question there.
Someone from the church about this, or? I imagine they know this is going on.
Yeah, no, I didn't answer that question.
You're waiting for the first check to arrive.
Right.
Puts a lot of precedence for sure on the local
Yeah, they definitely know exactly what's going on. There's a letter of authorization.
Just usually with the application, there's somebody here but it's obviously not a resident, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that reason they picked that location, Dave mentioned, you probably didn't hear, is the equipment room is right inside there,
No comment from
the first floor of the
Yeah.
building.
Okay. Any,
We did also investigate, trying to go over on the back side of the church. We were mostly concerned, aside from, proximity to the street, maybe, the state historic, issues. So we wanted to make sure that we at least kept the screening, but in the back, then you have the rear entrance and,
Okay,
so
yeah.
there really wasn't much you could do on the back side as far as an alternative location.
Mhm. Anybody else? Anything? I don't, the church seems not to have a problem with it. The only comments that we received was questions in regards to the fuel, noise level. I think they've answered it. Again, knowing what I know of generators and how they have to book today, I don't see an issue. It's close to the road. I can see snow plows coming down along there, but there is a curbing there that the plows try to stay and not be into the curbing, but snow wake is gonna blast that sucker. I can see probably what Mr. Shattuck from the highway department might be concerned about with the plastic, because they don't hit it with the plow, it's the snow that hits it coming out. And wet snow, yeah.
I know, I took down every mailbox on my street.
Yeah. So,
Neighbors weren't happy.
but that's not that's you, those issues, so. I don't have any, myself, no problem.
The neighbors know, the abutters know this is going on?
The meeting has been posted.
Requirement. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, the board has the authority to condition if they choose to approve.
Yep.
Some of the things that Rick has mentioned, if you want that, or it's up to you folks, of
I
course.
mean,
but
which could be to comply with any zoning regulations on the fence, height, that we can't find that.
Yeah, that would be in Harry's
Yeah,
domain anyways, but,
yeah.
so we would need to condition the height of the fence, but just want to make sure these guys are aware of it. I would like to see as part of the condition that we've requested a regular maintenance schedule that is part and parcel of what you do anyways, but just make sure that it's in the language, so, you know, if Peter's trucks in the wintertime end up, you know, somehow damaging, that someone's coming out regularly to inspect and that the safety and well-being of the community's upheld, that's all. We don't want to see their equipment damaged, we don't want to see, you know,
I think they can give you a letter of that.
just make it part of it.
You must have people that can write letters and stuff. Mr. McHugh would accept. I think.
We can go that.
Anything else, gentlemen?
So that,
Maybe add to that the scheduling of the cycling to, that it's, you know, the afternoon of, I don't think the
Yeah,
day.
maybe
really matters.
at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, when the buses and traffic are running during the week, a day. You know what we're saying?
Yeah, weekday,
Yeah,
early to mid-afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're comfortable with, it's once a week, that's standard,
definitely-
so,
That's
once a week,
typical.
That's
okay?
definitely.
Well, if there's nothing else, we could act on this with a motion. Who wants to maybe step up? You look like you could do that, Mike.
I make a motion to accept the application for minor site plan review for wireless installation at 3 Townsend Street by Selco Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless.
With those
With
conditions.
with the following conditions, that the plan include a schedule site review, and that the schedule for the testing of the generator be done on during a weekday preferably between the hours of 1 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'll second it.
One thing before is it possible that one of you people could get specs on your generator and send to our man here? And then I'm gonna ask you if you could take those and give them to the Board of Health people,
Absolutely.
that, about the containment and how these meet the Fed level and all that.
Absolutely,
Tier
Mr.
4
Chairman.
generators and all.
Sure.
That, I think that could be something that she could try to study and make sense with, all right?
Yeah, I've got
Okay.
a soft copy. It's a Generac 30 feet.
Okay, yeah, that, and to
Just
give
email
them
it.
so they can, that,
More often than not, we submit that as part of the package to the building inspector, but certainly we can put it in a file.
and if I also may, I know when I was reviewing generators for my application, there are generator specs that have to meet, and Mass has their own amendment on generators. So when I was talking to generator people, they said, oh yeah, when I was talking the size, and they're in that category, anything over 20 kW had to meet the Mass compliant also. So there is a Mass, I believe, a couple of generator guys that told me that, so anyways. Okay, we have the motion seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No opposed?
Could I ask the same signature?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I saw that.
So you can now let's CDs as well.
I'd be better served elsewhere. Thank you.
Oh, on to April 5th, yeah.
Do you want these plans, sir?
No, you can
These hours?
No, if you'd like to keep them.
You can keep them in your file if you want. Those are the actual construction drawings.
Let me ask. We need this,
We do not, no.
Okay, I'll
Actually,
take it back.
they're gonna forward the appropriate copies, the final,
They're the
the most
construction.
recent, the ones we discussed and agreed upon. Can forward those to my office. I should put down a sign and go to the meeting.
yeah. I make this at home. I usually just go once a day to, and I always recycle the cups and make cold cups. When I come home with a cup, I
You're
just
just one of those wholesome guys. Huh?
Yankee.
You just,
The other thing I do, you know, because I always go out to get the coffee from my crack team. So,
crack being,
you know, the cup
the thing that you only
Got a
got.
coffee,
I
did
always
you?
bring mine back
Never got a coffee, did you?
and throw it away. No, I'll take it
You know,
back.
like a million of them.
Think we're the crack
Please.
I guess not.
Okay.
Gentlemen, my
Is that crack or
son's
crap?
arriving from Florida, so,
Excellent.
and I don't think I'm a part of the following discussion, so,
Before you go,
Yes.
I know it's not on here, but I was thinking about what I've heard in either town meeting or some other discussions about a zoning study being done on Main Street. That's been the initiative of the Board of Selectmen and/or the town manager. And I was wondering if there was any communication that was being forwarded to us as a planning board about that study, or who's doing it, or is it
Yeah,
NEMCOG?
so it's, that was discussed before I began, Rick. It's a Main Street corridor study,
Mhm.
and it was funded through NEMCOG, through the state to NEMCOG. And that's part of moving forward in July with the master plan. Gonna be Main Street corridor. There might be another one as well that have been funded. So,
Who issued those proposals to NEMCOG
I did one of them.
on behalf
Oh,
of?
no, I brought it up at NEMCOG. I think the proposals were done through the office, but I did discuss the planning, the master plan with NEMCOG.
yeah, that was an ongoing discussion when I began, and we applied for the master plan grants, which have been awarded.
Right, I understand, I remember
So
that.
that was already on the table, and that, when I began, back in December. So I can find out exactly when it originated, of course, but yeah, that's a,
It's not necessarily when it originated, who's asking for, I understand we need to propose to NEMCOG for a
It was
master.
brought up at this meeting.
Yes, I'm not asking about the master plan. I'm asking about the Main Street corridor rezoning study. It
yeah, it's
wasn't
not a
on-
rezoning study, though, it's a Main Street corridor use study.
Okay,
Now,
That was
what'll
brought up
come
by
from
the
that,
Economic Development
that'll
Council.
go parallel with the master plan study. So, as I've described, there's no zoning should occur until we've endorsed, this board particularly, isn't going to
Right.
endorse a master plan.
right.
And from your master plan, you know, the next step would be, I think, a comprehensive rezoning.
So,
So that would come next.
sure. And
But
so
that's not
going
a-
from what Chuck just said, the Economic Advisory Council is a board that works on behalf of both selectmen and planning board. It's a joint board. And you, did I hear you correctly to say that the Economic Advisory Council made a request to NEMCOG?
No. I said
Okay.
it was brought up at the Economic Development Council that a study should be done.
Okay. When did that discussion ever take place at this board?
I wasn't part of the board at that point, so I don't know.
Well, that's, yeah, I don't know that that
Well,
has
we
ever
should- Well,
occurred.
no, you had a member there, so whoever was the member of the planning board.
I've never been any part of
The- I think the only
I was a
person,
representative from the selectmen.
okay.
I wasn't part of the planning board at that time. So I don't know if it was Al or whoever it was.
But that board never communicated to us.
Well, you had a member on the board.
So,
We have appointees to the board, true.
Then they're supposed to report to you.
Who was that?
Yeah, that's a technical assistance grant, is what the Main Street corridor is.
Mhm.
It's part of that through NEMCOG, through the state, from the state to NEMCOG to us.
Right.
But Chuck's right, I mean, that was in place. You know, I had to follow up on that after I began
Right.
That was-
in early December, but
Right.
what, it
So I
wasn't.
guess what I'm saying to the board is, I'm not disputing the health and wellness of that concept. But
Right.
there's been zero communication about that. I'm hearing it through other channels. It's not been presented to this board. I think it's a great idea, but if we were to be working in concert with,
Well, but you did have a representative on that.
But yeah,
board, so I don't
that
know.
is-
we have two or three people that we appoint to that.
So I don't know,
Right.
I don't understand the question, Rick. If you appointed them, don't they report back to you guys?
No, not necessarily. The
I
town
don't even
admin,
know, now, I don't even know if, were we ever appointed to that board.
I don't recall.
Well, just like
Yeah,
tonight,
it
the
goes back
second
quite a
part of the
while.
discussion tonight is an appointment of a member and an associate member to NEMCOG from this board.
right.
Right, that we did.
Which-
That's
But
what we did.
You're,
But we never, I don't recall doing.
you're asking who is our
Well, I know who,
appointee
I
to
mean,
the.
I can give you a couple. I
Everton
believe it's a
Board.
six-person board.
We haven't met in probably a year.
Okay, and originally, when the board was conceived, it was a John Moak concept, and it's a good concept, and
The Economic Development Committee.
right? So there's three from the selectmen and three from the planning board. I know Chet Babineau in the past has been on it.
Chet's been on it.
Massey Systems, John has
Yeah.
been on. Diane Cronin has been on it. Tracy,
Yeah.
down at the pharmacy's on it, or was on it. You know, I mean, I don't keep tabs on who's come and gone. We haven't reappointed anyone for a while, so I imagine that. But it's not been a practice of that board ever to have like minutes sent to ours, and maybe we need to. Maybe we need to request that.
Are you part of that?
But, just to
The
go back, so,
Economic
but we
Development
have
Committee?
representatives from this board on NEMCOG,
True.
right? And that grant is through, they're our advisors as we move forward on the Main
Right.
Street corridor, which would be voted on at their agency. I don't want to speak for their agency, but you have members from a large area sitting on that board.
Right, I've sat
Which
on
is
that
what we
board
have
as
now.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, prior to me, but I don't know how that could not be known. I mean, I don't know what to say.
I don't know how that could be known either.
I don't know.
That's why I'm asking the question.
You're asking a question that I
maybe we need.
I don't understand,
We
actually.
need a better communication link, because I don't, again, I'm not trying to get in the way of something that sounds positive for the town.
Right.
But at the same time, if there's consideration about how the town is planned, and we are the planning board, I would expect that there would be
I hear you,
a
what
clearer
you're saying.
line of communication.
No,
Maybe we
I
could.
understand what you're saying, but I guess, like, when I was a representative from the selectmen, I talked to the selectmen.
Okay,
And if we, as a board, appoint someone to a committee, that person that we appoint should communicate to us.
Mhm.
So, it
Well-
behooves us that if we appoint somebody, that we put them on the agenda
Yeah.
to send us something.
Yeah.
maybe what we could request is just the minutes of the Economic Development Committee when they meet as part of our package.
Let me ask, Chuck, are they still
We haven't
meeting?
met in about a year, I don't know.
Okay,
It's
so
been
they're
a
not
while.
even really active right now.
So if it was over a year, a year ago, I wasn't hearing about a Main Street corridor.
This is
Gee, and
probably
I
the
can only
select.
say, honestly, I mean, when I started and attended some meetings, it was talked about.
Right.
Main Street corridor study.
I've only heard about it in the
No.
last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And as far as moving forward, those grants, and the work is gonna begin in July 1st, the new fiscal year.
Mhm.
So certainly, I'm expecting us to appoint members and whatnot to all of those groups. And there'll certainly be hearings here, so I can only talk for myself. I don't know what may have transpired, but.
So I'm
I
still
mean, there's-
confused. I guess if the Economic Development Committee hasn't met in over a year, and this discussion's only been going on for the last,
No, it's been going on for a while.
And I would hope it would be.
I don't have any notes with me, I'm.
But I
old,
would
so-
hope that would be, I agree with you, it's a planning exercise entirely.
yeah, and I'm not trying to
It is.
control it, just be in the
No,
same loop of it.
No, we wanna, it's gonna
I
be
don't think
open to
anybody's
everybody, we
disagreeing.
know that, but, when I first
Well,
met you,
check
my
it.
first time in late November, you folks are our planners, so, yeah, you're the ones that get this stuff done, as we move forward. You're the ones that are gonna endorse it, you guys are gonna oversee it, you're certainly gonna oversee that's how I view it.
And
That's my task, so. So
a
I
little
can't-
disconcerting to not be part of the discussion as it's been developing.
So you don't know if anything really,
Well, I don't know.
No, just that it's gotta
I
move
just take a
forward.
little bit of exception with that. If you guys appointed a person to the Economic Development Committee, that person should have reported back to the board.
yeah,
Not, because since I was on the selectmen's side, it wasn't my responsibility to report to the planning board.
I'm not saying it was.
And, so we got to make sure that if we're appointing somebody, they have the responsibility to come back to our board.
yeah. I think we've lost track of who we have on that board. 'Cause I don't,
Appointing, I don't
Nothing.
recall appointing anybody.
no.
We
We have-
appointed NEMCOG, I don't ever recall appointing anybody to economic.
No.
Again, I can
I
tell
have-
you from its
Maybe
inception, we've
years
had
and years ago.
people that we've appointed and-
Yeah.
and good people in town. And
The last,
When they were
Inter-
appointed, did they come back with notes?
any
No.
communication that we've ever received in the past from that board has been through the office of town manager and through the planner. If there was information that was, generic to what we were discussing, or if information we wanted them to have, that we were talking about potential rezoning areas or getting their input, we sent it through the previous planner, Sue, to the board.
Yeah.
So,
So again, I've not, just so I'm clear, nothing about zoning that I'm aware of, nor would I endorse that as the town planner. That, that comes after the plan, so there has, again.
but even the study of it, I just,
Right, and that's
seems to be a
been,
breakdown in communication. Maybe we need to get that link tightened up.
yeah, I guess I've always been of the assumption that y'all are involved. It's just been talked about in
Of us,
many areas.
you go for the selectmen. I do attend, it doesn't sound like you attend. The planning board's supposed to have 3 members on that?
No, we appointed 3 community members.
Okay.
So you can no longer be representing the selectmen if you're sitting on the planning board as a member of the economic.
Again, we haven't met in a while,
So,
and I don't know when the appointments come up.
I don't know. I've not met any
Runs the show.
of the members. I've not met
Selectmen?
anyone.
The town manager.
The town manager? Well, maybe we need to ask Mark what's going on with this economic planning committee. Or at least
Yeah,
get a
that
list
might
of
be
who's
a-
on it.
if, in talking to
But you're right,
passing,
it
if
was
you could,
Tracy, Chet,
is there,
John Massey, myself.
the town's still gonna have that economic
Yeah.
committee? Ask them
Yeah,
the next time,
Diane.
so.
I'm not sure who else.
We'll see what comes back. If there's
why
any-
not have 2 members set up, we can't have a quorum, but certainly 2 members can meet with the town administrator. I don't speak for him, but, we can't have 3, because again, it's a quorum, an open meeting, but I believe we can have two folks, or certainly the chairman, or however. Again, it's not a secret, it's been
Right.
discussed openly since I walked in the door,
But it hasn't ever been discussed with us.
Oh, so I.
And I'm not pointing a finger at
Yeah.
you, I'm just
No,
saying.
no, I understand, no, because nothing's happened, other than that it's coming down the pike, and,
Mm-hmm.
I applied for the funding, for the grant funding, we got the grant funding, and it begins July 1st, all of that planning process, of which that's a part of. So that's just the way it's been presented since I began,
Okay.
yeah. Unless somebody knows something else, I don't. That's all I got, Rick.
Okay,
see.
thanks.
You're welcome. Okay,
So you're all gonna
Thanks.
leave?
I
All
am,
right.
yeah.
And Joe's gonna take
My
the
son's
minutes.
probably freezing, he's coming up from Florida, I don't think this is the weather he was hoping for. I think he wanted that 85-degree weather last week.
It'll be 70 on Wednesday.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
See ya.
All right, take care, Steve, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, anything else? Let's go to our selection of officers. First up, it changes, who we want to do for the chairman. Nomination for the chairman.
George, I think you're doing a great job.
I'll second that.
Any other nomination for chairman? You want me to be it again?
You'll do it, George.
If you'll do it.
I'll do it.
We're right
One
behind
more
you.
year.
That's what you said last year.
No, just, yeah, I didn't guarantee that I could do it. I know I said. And I need to have a, excuse me, a clerk. Nomination for a clerk.
I nominate Mike.
Me too. Anybody? Everybody?
Second that, Joe, quick.
I'll second that.
Paul.
I'm abstaining from the vote.
I used to do.
I think, Mike, you do it, would be good for that. Wean you in to be a chairman next time. And, how about our NIMCOG? Chuck, do you
I'll
still do that? And do we need to have a backup? Can we ask for a backup? How about,
Joe, it's about time you got your feet wet.
I thought it was Paul.
Oh,
If I sign it, it'll be Paul.
Rick, how's your schedule?
Actually, my year coming has opened up a bit, so
Would you like
I'll
to?
back up Chuck. I can work with Chuck doing that. I've done it before.
Do we, I like that. Okay, then we have that and second it, that Chuck will be our main man to NEMCOG and Rick will be our alternate.
okay.
And that's pretty much all we have, other than
Next meeting?
we need to try to find an associate member. I wanted to call Al Patton on. I haven't been able to yet, forget. And just ask him if he would want to be a alternate and come in and put his name in. So, other than, again, excuse me, if you people know anybody, we should have an alternate planning board member. So, okay.
Can I ask who seconds the NIMCOG and the alternate members?
I'll second it.
Okay. And this, the other thing is, I've asked that we ask around for our planning board
Associate.
alternate member. And I'll,
Dennis,
Try to-
Dennis doesn't want anything to do with it.
um,
Or is he out of-
Dennis Kane,
About
Yeah.
80%.
he didn't want it for our last time around, that's when Joe came on.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah, Dennis is not.
he's not interested in the alternate, no?
Okay. He's done quite a bit. But Al might do it, you know. I wouldn't be surprised Al could do that. Try to. So, I've gotta give him a call. Any other business or old business, new business?
What's our next meeting?
June 5th
June 5th.
and the 19th.
Isn't there one that we were gonna coincide with
What
a
is-
special town meeting coming up or something?
Yeah, what is the town meeting, what, May 7th? Is that one? No, can't be May 7th.
May, June, they have another town meeting coming in. I know Rick, Steve had mentioned something that
Yes, I
we
have
might have to change that around, but, so right now, it's,
We're
June
doing two meetings, with the exception of January and December, we're doing 2 meetings a month.
yeah. Unless you hear otherwise, our next one is June 5th.
All right.
We had no meeting on the 24th of April,
Right, because that was election day.
right? So maybe that's the only one we took out. I don't recall
But I think,
us
I know
killing a meeting in
because we were gonna have a hearing, and I think Steve had called me about it and said he was gonna have to, change that hearing. And he was gonna,
I thought we moved it out to June, didn't we?
Yeah, we moved it, we did move one.
I thought-
We moved one to June 19th.
Right. Or maybe it's June 5th we don't have a meeting, I don't know.
okay,
Well,
we'll see. Certainly. I'll double check that with Steve, or make note in that, verify our next, was we gonna coincide or collide with a special town meeting, question mark. So, all right, guys, good meeting.
or some of these,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second it?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's over.